Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Walks in, goes to the center, Dylan Guenther, golden goal in Halifax. Canada's won back-to-back World Junior gold medal.
Finally, Guenther can get a date with Rachel. Who tweeted that out last night?
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Team Canada's gold medal win over Czechia in a bit with Craig Button. All of our guests today, including Craig, standing by, brought to you by the Waddling Dog Pub, one of Victoria's favorite local pubs, located 10 minutes from the ferry. The two-time #1 pub in Victoria invites you to see why they are a go-to watering hole. The Waddling Dog is the best place for all of your Canucks and NHL action, any sorts of sports, with extended hours so you don't have to miss any of the action. Come, sit, and stay at the Waddling Dog Pub, as we're joined by, in the wake of Canada's victory over Czechia, by Craig Button, TSN Scouting Director. Craig, Happy New Year. Thanks for doing this. How are you?
I'm very good. Happy New Year to you both, and I'm doing very well. Hope the same for everybody there.
How entertaining was that tournament, especially from a Canadian point of view, Craig? I thought Halifax did a great job, and Moncton.
Yeah, Donnie, they did. You know, when you think about the World Junior Tournament, and we think about hockey and this great country of ours, this big country of ours, you know, hockey connects communities. And, you know, when you go into the Atlantic provinces and Halifax and Moncton specifically, you know, they want to show that they're a really proud community in our country. And if we start to just only go to the big communities, we diminish the smaller communities. And what everybody wants to do is just feel connected. And I think that it's important to have the tournament in these types of venues and these types of geographical locations with this type of passion. I mean, it was unbelievable to be in Moncton and to be in Halifax, and the enthusiasm was right off the charts. And outside of Moncton, they had an outdoor skating rink. They had a TV set up for the Canada games at night after we were done. Food trucks, bands playing. Halifax was the same. I mean, it was, as the kids would say, it was bumping. And then you get into the building. After the goal went in last night by Dylan Guenther for the overtime goal, I'm standing up in the catwalk doing the broadcast, and you could just feel it shaking underneath you. And there was a time in that third period where the fans were sitting on their hands, and there was this tension you could feel in the building. But you know, I think seeing it all unfold the way it did, and you know, one of the moments that really caught my eye, guys, and I think this is a reminder that we can never forget when it comes to this country and what hockey means to it. It's about the kids, and it's about the kids being involved. It's about the kids having good role models. It's about the kids being excited about you know, not only watching but potentially one day playing. So after the bronze medal game in Halifax on January 5th, Thursday, they got to clear out the whole rink. Everybody's got to exit, and everybody's cleaning up. So just about an hour before the game, a little less than an hour, people come into the building. And so right where the Canadian team comes out on the ice, all you saw was kids, like hundreds of kids running to get to that spot so they could watch those players, get a firsthand glimpse of those players coming out on the ice. And it was kids. That's who it was. Yep. And that, to me, is what this sport is, what it means, and we can never forget it.
Craig, well said, by the way. Thomas Milic is from this part of the world. He's from Coquitlam, obviously one of Canada's top performers at the World Juniors. Hasn't been drafted yet. How come in the NHL?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty simple, and I think, you know, NHL teams are looking for a certain height with goaltenders, and we can argue whether that's fair or whether it's not fair. I mean, and you know what's really interesting, Donnie and Rick, is think about the performance Soros put on in the game on Thursday versus Carolina. And let's not forget, Soros won a World Junior gold medal in 2014 with Finland. So, I mean, he ended up being drafted, I think, in the 4th or 5th round. I think for Thomas, and what I would continuously remind him of, You can't do anything about your height. You can't do anything about the way people view you. So just keep proving yourself. Just keep proving yourself along the line. It might be a longer path. There's goaltenders his height that play in the NHL. He's clearly shown a capability. And whether you want to just say, hey, the height doesn't matter, it does. That's the rationale. Should it? Not necessarily so, but it's still Thomas's opportunity to just keep showing what you got. And you know what he's done? He's shown that he's got a lot in his game, and that is what matters the most. And I think that for Thomas and other goaltenders of his stature, you start to go, well, geez, my job is to stop the puck. Why should it matter what my height is? And they're right, but that's the reality. So I don't think Thomas doubts himself, nor should he, and just keep tracking along. That's what I would tell him.
Craig, Jonathan Lekaramaki, Canuck draft pick, didn't have a great tournament. Your thoughts on what you saw in terms of what's going on with this kid?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything going on, Rick. He'd been injured a little bit in the Swedish league, and I think that he didn't have his legs underneath him, so to speak, in terms of a rhythm of playing and whatnot. But I think what's very clear when you watch Jonathan play is that he's got a really good skill set, and he's got a really good brain for the game. And I think you come to the tournament and you start to see it as an opportunity to not only show how good you are, but you test yourself against other good players. I can't begin to tell you, and let me just say this, hundreds of 18-year-olds I've seen come to this tournament that were really good players that had different struggles, I'll call them. But then they come back the next year, and it's like, wow. And this is a best-on-best tournament. And I don't think there's anything negative with Jonathan. And if I hadn't seen it previously, I might say it was. But I've seen it, like I said, so much with so many players and good players. And that's just what ends up happening because of the quality of competition.
Craig, you can understand in this city after watching Connor Bedard and what he did, and everybody in this city, tank for Bedard, Craig. It's very tough for the Canucks management, is it not, to flip midway through the season and go for a tank, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that, the tank is really, what you're looking at. How do you get to the bottom of the standings to get the best odds, right? And that's really what it is. And so that would be difficult for the Vancouver Canucks, I think, at this stage of the game. So, but let's not forget what the issue, what the problem, what the challenge is for the Vancouver Canucks. They have to look at their team and look at real significant ways to improve it, because as they move along and they continuously show, they show some good things because they have talent, but they're not a team that should be taken seriously as any type of contender. I'll even say as a playoff contender. Could they get in the playoffs? Maybe they could, but they're not a Stanley Cup contender. So I think the real evaluation has to come from within, where you say, listen, we can't just keep straddling the line here. We can't just keep being this team that's sitting here in the middle, because where they sit is nowhere. And the last place you want to be in the National Hockey League is nowhere. You either want to be at the bottom where you go, okay, we're looking at, like, everybody's excited in Chicago. They're the worst team in the league, and they're excited because they're looking at, oh, God, look, we had all these guys. Look at the Canadian defense. We had 3 of our prospects on the blue line. Oh, we might have a chance at Bedard. People in Vancouver don't feel that way. Yeah. And that's what happens when you're nowhere, because they have no chance for the cup and they have no chance to get, this promise coming. And fans in Vancouver are passionate. They want to see their team do well. And when you're in that land of nowhere, it's the worst place you can be. Get out of it, is what I would say.
Hear, hear. Okay, Craig, one more very quickly. Back to the World Junior Tournament. Joshua Roy, we saw him set up the gold medal winning goal. He was one of Canada's best players. 5th-round draft pick, Montreal 2021. What's in his hockey future? He looks great.
Donnie, he does look great. I'm going to try to wrap this up real quick, because I want to. Joshua Roy was the first overall pick in the Quebec League draft. I watched him play in midget, and he was a terrific player. He ended up in St. John with the Sea Dogs, and after a season and a half there, he said, this isn't a place for me. It's not working. And so he said that he was leaving, and he said, if you trade me, great. If you don't, I'll stop playing hockey. That's what he basically was prepared to do, because he took control of his career, Don. And whether you agree with him or you don't agree with him, the young man took control of his career, and he said, this isn't working for me. And he looked to find a better path for him. He was a fifth-round draft pick because, even though he started to show some of those things that last half of the year, he was still trying to find his game. And the Montreal Canadiens have an outstanding player in Joshua Waugh. And I think the real lesson here is don't close your eyes to players that might be struggling a little bit. That might go right back to Lekaramaki. If they got the talent, help them find it. And, a player that takes control of his career, a person that takes control of their career and believes in themselves, don't doubt yourselves, even though others may.
I said Happy New Year earlier. Also, happy birthday. I saw the shots from Mount Assiniboine. They looked tremendous. So Happy New Year. Happy birthday, Craig, and thanks for doing this.
Happy 49th.
39th.
Yeah. Hey, Rick, I feel 40, but I certainly don't look 40.
We're on the same boat, pal.
You look good. I'll trade you any day, Craig. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you.